Welcome, everyone.
Welcome to the Outer Realm.
Hi, and welcome, everyone, to Ethereal Encounters Unveiled. Today, we are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in beautiful New Orleans. Hello, everyone. Well, that was weird. There was another outro playing. It just StreamYard has a mind of its own. Anyway, we fixed that. But welcome, everyone. It's so exciting to have you all here today. And as you just heard, welcome to Ethereal Encounters Unveiled. And of course, we're broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, which you can find on FM at 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. Please be sure and join us in one of the various chat rooms to connect with our guests today. Leave your comments and questions. We always love hearing from you. So tonight is a conversation that's very near and dear to my heart and to many of us. And we're stepping into one of the most unsettling questions of our time. Is reality curated for us? Not just manipulated, not just spun, but curated, selected, filtered, and engineered. We live in an age where algorithms decide what we see, institutions shape what we're taught, and headlines compete for our attention like gladiators in a digital arena. The idea that belief itself can be engineered is no longer science fiction. Many of us are waking up to that or have woken up to that, and it's a part of our daily life. But how deep does that engineering go? Is it just media narratives and social influence, or does it reach into something far more fundamental? That's where tonight's conversation goes. And there's no one better to discuss this with than my guest, Flat Earth Dave. He argues that the very shape of our world has been misrepresented to us, and that the globe model itself may be a part of a larger system of constructed belief. So whether you agree or disagree, or just simply curious, the bigger question is this: who decides what is real, and how do we know? This isn't about maps or models. It's about how we know what we know in an era where information is abundant, but trust is scarce. So tonight, we're not just debating the shape of the earth. We're exploring the possibilities that reality itself may be filtered, framed, and curated. And if that's true, then the implications go far beyond the horizon. So with that said, let's welcome our guest, Flat Earth Dave. Thank you. It's such a joy to have you here again.
Thanks for having me back. There's lots to discuss.
Yes, and no one better than you to do this with.
Now, what percentage of your audience would you say is aware of the globe lie, as I like to call it? 50?
I think
more?
It's growing. I think it's growing, but it's still not a huge percentage, maybe 30.
Okay. So I want to talk to the people that are in that 70% that don't believe. You think this is dumb. You're ready to turn it off. We were all there. I actually mocked flat earthers for, when I first heard about it, I thought it was the dumbest thing ever. And I refused to even look at a 1-minute video. But then, Sophia Smallstorm forced me to look, and I looked with a bad attitude. I looked just to disprove it. I didn't look to find the truth. I looked to disprove it. And that's how you become an anti-glober or a flat earther or whatever you want to label it. The label is nothing. It's just knowing that we don't live on the helio sinister trick that the elite try to pull on us. So I want to talk about how we got into this situation.
Yeah.
So did you know that I used to be the president of the United States?
I did not know that. No.
Okay. And what did I just say to you? What did I just tell you?
That you used to be the president of the United States.
Now, is that true or false?
That is false.
Okay. So you took that information, you filtered it through your life experience, which is like a screen. The more life experience you have, the tighter that screen becomes. And the more things you can judge things on in a microsecond and decide whether they're definitely true, definitely false, or somewhere in between. Right?
Mhm.
Did you know that I windsurfed across the Atlantic Ocean in 1998? Now there, you don't have enough life experience. You're like, well, maybe, I might have heard something. And so you're going to store that one as, I don't know, I'd have to look further.
Right.
But the president one, you don't need to look any further. You don't need to ask anybody. You don't need to ask Google. You don't need to go into ChatGPT. You know it's false, and you're not going to investigate that any further, right?
Mhm.
So in a year from now, if somebody says to you, name 5 presidents, you might have a fleeting memory. Dave White said he was president, but that's not true. And then you'll whip off the 5 presidents and answer the question. So the presidents that you list off, unless you met them, do you know, like George Washington, did he even exist? No, I think he did. Don't get me wrong. But we store things in our mind, in our subconscious memory bank, that go through our conscious filter, and we store them with a label of true, not true, or somewhere in between. And when we're a child under the age of 7, that filter doesn't even exist. It's just giant holes. And if it's somebody like a teacher or a textbook or even your parents, you just store that information as true, right? You're in school. Teachers are will bypass any screening a child has even more than their parents, because their parents lied to them early on about Santa Claus. But teachers never lie, right?
Right.
So that's stored, and then you're watching Sesame Street as a little kid, and they have an astronaut on, and you're like, oh yeah, astronaut, we went to the moon, and the Earth is a ball, and you're starting to weave this web of a construct of a globe Earth that is a 100% truth in your mind. So, and that just keeps on building and building and building with billions and billions of connections and things that you've seen and witnessed in globes and movies and Star Wars and everything. And that becomes the fabric of your reality, even though it's based on a lie. And so when somebody says to you as an adult, Earth is flat, you immediately revert to a 5-year-old when you were told that the Earth is a globe. And that's why you see people flip out and literally act like children when you tell them the Earth is flat, because they have to go back to when they learned that assumed fact. And the question is, they were just told it and they believed it and they built their life around it. Every single time I've done this, and it never fails. If I go to somebody, not an anti-flat earther, there's people out there that are agents, there's people out there that are possessed, whatever, it's the same thing. And I did it twice today, where random people talking to them, they're like, oh yeah, what do you do? And I said, I'm in Mexico right now. And I said, La Tierra es plana, which is the Earth is flat. And they open up their eyes and they're like, no. And I was like, so they'll defend the globe, and I'll ask them questions about the globe. What's the radius? What's the circumference? How far is it from the sun? How did they figure that out? How big is the sun? How fast are we moving? I'll ask them 25 questions. They don't know any of the answers, but they're defending it. Right? Have you ever been to Tasmania?
I have not.
What's your favorite place to go? Just any place.
Vegas.
Okay. So we're going to have a debate right now. I'm going to say, we're going to argue which place is more fun to visit. I'm going to take the Vegas side. You're going to take the Tasmania side. Okay. And we're going to just talk about the reasons why this place is better. So I can go on and on about Vegas. There's gambling. There's dance shows. There's all sorts of stuff. There's great restaurants. Tell me about Tasmania.
I know nothing about Tasmania. Just
So
the
you're not-
Tasmanian devil. That's about
So
it.
you're not going to defend whether Tasmania is the more fun place to go, because you can't, because you don't have any information. You
Right.
have the same amount of information about Tasmania as the people that defend the globe have about the globe. They don't know their model, but they defend it. I was that person. I did it. We all did it. You did it. We all no, they're all the science. The science, was everybody in on it? A lot of people are in on it.
Exactly. Because it's such a huge lie. If it's a lie, that means everybody's in on it.
No, that's not true, because how do you become a teacher or a scientist? You memorize and regurgitate what the Rockefellers put in the textbooks for you to learn. And if you can do that perfectly, you get straight A's, you get honors, and you become a teacher and you teach the same nonsense. It's just you're teaching myths and you're teaching religion when you're teaching the globe, because there is no evidence. If there is a globe, no matter what the size is, there should be curvature, but there is none. If something doesn't curve, then it's what? If something doesn't move, then it's what? The earth is level and stationary and flat, topographical, of course, and it doesn't rotate. But the sky rotates. I watched the sun. I was at the beach all day and I watched the sun move across the sky. Wait, you watch the sun move across the sky? But you're moving? No, you saw the sun move across the sky because the sky's moving. But the sun's too big for it to move across the sky like that. Who told you the sun was so big? Look at it. It doesn't look that big. Who told you the sun was 400 times bigger than the moon, but also 400 times farther than the moon? That's why they look like they're the same size. That's called mental mathematics, mental gymnastics, or to explain your model. On flat earth, we go, they look like they're the same size because they are the same size. They move across the sky because they're moving across the sky. It's warmer in the summer because the sun is closer to us. When the sun is over the Tropic of Cancer, which is a circle around the North Pole, which goes over like Miami and then the same distance all the way around, in June, it's warm in the inner north because the sun is closer. Right? And then in January, it goes out to the Tropic of Capricorn, and that's why Australia has their summer and we're freezing our butts off in America. What percentage of your audience is listening and not watching?
Well, there's a much larger percent watching than
watching.
listening.
That's good. All right, so I'm going to show a graphic here. I'm showing a graphic, and remember what you were just going to ask me, so don't forget. I just want to show you one thing.
Got it in my brain.
So in February, I was right here in the tip of the Yucatan, and it was 90 plus degrees, and in the Northeast, it was negative 10, 100-degree difference. Right? In the heliocentric model, the sun is 0.00003% farther from the Northeast than it is from Mexico. That's insignificant. A globe will tell you, no, it's not. It's so far. It's so big. No, it's insignificant, because if you understood the spin of the Earth changes your distance even greater than that. But there was a 100-degree difference. How do you explain that? Right? But on the flat Earth, if we look at it, where the sun was at that exact time, it's twice as far from the Northeast. I'm at the end of this yellow line. It's right there. And the Northeast is twice as far away. Which one makes sense? If you're near a campfire and you turn your body a little bit, do you get cooler? No. But if you walk twice as far away from the campfire, do you get cooler? Yes. So whatever the sun is, and I don't think it's a campfire, its heating is more intense as you're closer, just like everything else in life. Go ahead, ask your question. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, actually, Mish just brought the same type of question. Why all this effort to make us believe this is a lie? I was basically going to ask that. It takes a lot more effort to lie than it does to tell the truth. Like, what's the bullet point for that?
So we're in a very intense, this place is not what you think it is. We're in a spiritual war with what we call, whatever you want to call evil. We're in a spiritual war with these people. I mean, our leaders are doing the most insane things ever, but this is all about control. So imagine you lived in a place where there's infinite resources, there's infinite land, there's free energy, there's proof 100% not faith that there is a creator and that it's close and that you're at the center of creation, versus you're a microscopic speck in an infinite expanding universe with at best a deluded God. You evolved from pond scum through monkeys and then into you. We're running out of dinosaur juice. We're working half of our lives to just pay for electricity and heating and gas. They're hiding our history. They're hiding our true potential. If you believe you live on a ball, you have to play by their ball field rules, right? We're born into God's world. And nobody has the right to rule over you unless you have contracted with them. For example, well, I don't want to give you an example. I'll say when you agree to something, when you sign something, when you say, okay, and you sign it, that is a powerful move right there. And you've just contracted with them. But I've contracted with none of these people to rule over me. If they want to rule over me, tell me I have to do this, nada. I say, I'd like to see the contract from God with his wet stamp on it saying that he gave them authority over me, because they're just assuming. What authority do the authorities have over you unless you've given it to them? So when you're born, you're commoditized. You get your birth certificate. You're poisoned where they stick all sorts of stuff into you, and you live on their ball, and they teach you that before you can even talk, and so I say, if you're on their ball field, they can make their ball field rules. But in God's world, they cannot change the natural law. They can't. So that's why they created this other world that we buy into. Now, you know what revelation of the method is? Revelation of the method. Yeah. So for those that don't, revelation of the method is they're not allowed to break free will. So they always have to tell us. This is a really cool game we're in. It really is. Yeah. And they always have to tell us what we're doing, because God gave us incredible gifts, our senses and everything. And if we don't use them, that's on us. So they told us about the day after September 10th. They told us what was happening at the marathon in Boston before it happened. Yeah. They told us all of this stuff. And then we just don't see it. We don't do anything about it. Now they're telling us that the elite like really weird things to eat, and nobody's doing anything about it. Okay? So they normalize, and they put it right in front of us. I'm only one person. I got to go to work on Monday. I have to pay my bills. Your one person is more powerful, awake, and aware to what this place is than millions of sleeping people. So, that's where they want you. They want you in the well, there's nothing I can do about it anyway attitude. I used to be like that a little bit. And now it's making a difference. People are waking up. I can't even read all the emails I get of people like, you changed my life. This I can't believe it. I used to ridicule you and others like you, and and everything. And they want to just keep us pharmaceuticaled up. They want to keep us sick and tired and broke and scared, because you know about loosh energy?
Absolutely. I think most people in the audience know what loosh is, but you could go right ahead.
Well, they want to keep you in fear, because the demons feed on this energy. So I was at Anarchapulco. It's a freedom conference in Puerto Vallarta. It was in Puerto Vallarta this year, just before it ended, just when the violence started. You heard about that? What happened in Mexico just the other day?
Oh God, yeah.
So we'd left Saturday morning, and it happened Sunday morning. But by the way, 90% of what you saw on TV, it's all fake. No burning airplanes. Nobody died. They did blow up a couple cars, but they pulled the people out of the cars first before they set them on fire.
I saw that. Yeah.
So, but the stuff you're seeing, like Benny Willis or whatever that guy is, that YouTube guy is big, like that, millions of subscribers.
Benny
Everything,
Johnson.
Benny Johnson,
Benny
everything he
Johnson.
said about it is a lie.
A
He's
lie,
just,
yeah.
yeah. And I don't know if he's just ignorant or if he's in on it. I couldn't tell you, but everything he said is
He's
a lie.
probably in on it because
Probably.
he's in it for clicks and clickbait. And
so maybe he's not in on it. Maybe he's just doing it for clicks. Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe he doesn't research his stuff well.
Yeah, it's one of the two.
Yeah. So Benny is being promoted while you're being suppressed. That's the world that we live in. So
yeah, because the girl he claimed was being held hostage by the Mexican government. I think there were 3 women he claimed.
Not true.
And they
None
all
of it's
came
true.
out. None of it's true. It's all lies. They made videos and said,
and the burning cars and everything. There was a couple of buses, a couple of cars, a couple of Oxos, like 7-Elevens. And that's it. That was just because their head guy was taken out, and they, and now everything's open. People are back on the beaches, just it's incredible. The airport was closed for one day. So at this conference, there's a shaman there, and he told me a story at dinner, and I want to share it with you. So it's Bali. I think it was Bali. So do you know about Bali and the demons?
No.
He said, and you could look, I looked this up, and the mainstream explanation of what's really going on is not quite the same, but because they're not going to tell you. So the Bali natives believe that the demons live under Bali. And the demons used to cause havoc on Bali. And they made an agreement with the demons that one day a year they would have a festival honoring like crazy animal sacrifices and stuff. And it's like a demonic festival. Look it up online. You can see videos. They're dancing in the street and everything. And then all the power goes out on the entire island, and everybody is restricted to their hotels. No one's allowed to leave. No one's allowed outside. And the demons come out and eat up all the loosh for the day. And then that's it. And they're back, and the demons don't bother them for the rest of the year. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
But look it up. It's happening in Bali every year. And it makes a lot of sense when you have eyes to see.
Yeah. I mean, look what they're doing for adrenochrome. I mean, that's a whole nother thing too, but I don't doubt. My one word is always maybe. Maybe that's true.
Maybe. Right. We don't. There's lots of things we don't know. People that believe in the globe think they know everything, and they know nothing. It's so bizarre. I was just talking to another person today, and they said, my family members, friends, they think I'm crazy, but they think I'm dumb. They're the ones that are dumb, right? I don't like to use words like that, but they really are, and ignorant is a bad word. You're ignorant to everything you don't know. That's true. That's a fact. It's just a word. Relax.
Yeah, absolutely.
And people are so ignorant to the globe, but they think they know everything about it because they were taught at such a young age, and because it was reinforced in every video, every movie, every TV show, everywhere. There's globes everywhere.
I wanted to talk to you about the firmament because I got a lot. Last time you were on, I had a boatload of questions about it, but I wanted to see if there's a video. It's like maybe a minute or two long, and I wanted to get your take on it because there were a few things in it that really rung true, especially the encyclopedia part. Let me play that real quick, and then can.
Before you play it, I just want to point out, going back to the person that said, why the lie? On my app, which you can find on my website, flatearthdave.com, there's the question mark button. And that takes you to the questions that everybody asked me all day long. But right on the third row or fourth row, there's why the lie.
There you go.
And the videos there will blow your mind. They're my favorite. I've watched all of them like 100 times. They're fantastic. But in this discussion, we're just talking here. I'm hopefully planting some seeds in the people that are like, oh my God, Carrie, what the hell? We're all like that. You have to look. Nobody looks honestly and walks away going, no, it's BS. They walk away going, oh my God, I can't believe I believed in the globe my entire life. Right.
Somebody
go ahead.
asked,
Sorry.
I think it was Ian earlier. If you still had that 3 Bitcoin challenge If
3
anybody
Bitcoins for
disproves,
one globe proof. Yes, one globe proof, one scientific globe proof. You win 3 Bitcoins. And trust me, I implore you to do it because you'll be a flat earther and then you'll be on our team. Nobody can, when you look, you'll realize, well, boats over the horizon. Oh, well, that's explained. Sunsets over the ocean. Oh, that makes sense. Seasons. I just showed you seasons. What about eclipses? Well, eclipses actually disprove the globe. Don't ask me how they're done on the flat earth. I have theories and they're probably right, but anything in the sky is just a theory, globe or flat.
yeah.
But what they tell us, the story of the globe, is provably wrong.
Incredible. Take a peek at this and let me know your thoughts.
Ever taken in human history. I'll like the video right there. Follow for more. Let's check it out.
Is this unassuming picture taken off the shores of Antarctica perhaps the most important photograph ever taken in human history? Stick
Let's
around.
see.
I'll explain more. This man's name is George Rayner, and he's a biologist. And he unknowingly possibly took the most important picture in human history while he was down in Antarctica exploring whales. There is a large faction of people that believe what he captured here beyond the ice wall is actually the edge of our known world, the firmament. And that might sound crazy to you, but I'm going to provide you with some evidence that might make you think it's not so crazy. Let's first get a point of reference by looking at this Go Fast rocket that was launched from Arizona that went straight up and at about 72 miles appeared to hit something, a barrier of some sort. And if we are potentially living under a dome, and we look at Arizona, it would be closer to the highest part of the dome. So 72 miles here would lead to a lower resting dome down towards Antarctica. And when you scour the internet and you find encyclopedia information pre-NASA, this is what you find.
I'm going to show you the Encyclopedia Britannicas in the public libraries before 1958. Here's volume 2 out of the alphabet A. And we're going to flip to the Antarctica from 1958, before the Antarctic Treaty says the flights proved inland areas to be featureless in character with a dome 13,000 feet high at about latitude 80 degrees south.
Oh my God.
So 72 miles high. And when you get closer to Antarctica, as in New Zealand and Australia, 13,000 feet is where they're saying the dome is, which is about 3 miles. So going from 72 miles down to about 3 miles. At some point, it seems like that is going to connect to the known grounds. And when you colorize this photo and look at it closer and compare what that looks like to the ripples of water, they look almost identical.
Oh, hell. So apparently this is the most important picture.
All right, so we have a question already. I want you,
Let me address that.
Yeah, address that.
So that's been around for a while, and there's I think there's a couple other pictures that are similar. Very well could be, but today with AI and stuff, who knows what's real? I think it's a real photo. I really do. There's some interesting evidences. Airplanes that fly over 80 degrees north fly at like 35,000 feet, but 80 degrees south, they only fly at 10,000 feet. That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It makes a lot of sense. The Globers will defend that encyclopedia article by saying that they call the tops of the mountains domes, right? So they always have, they're trying to weasel out of it, but they're clearly saying that there is a dome at that height. And, back then they were doing Operation Operation Fishbowl and Operation Dominic, where they were shooting bombs and they were hitting something, at whatever elevation it was. So whether we can photograph the firmament, touch it, which they're not allowing us to, which is why they don't allow us to go to Antarctica, there has to be something, because we're breathing air, and there's no way to have air pressure without a container.
Right. That makes so much sense. What about the more lands theory?
So the more lands theory, I like that you said theory because it is a theory, but there's lots of books about it and it makes a lot of sense. Now, even the biblical people like, well, no, there's no more land. God created the earth and that's it. He doesn't talk about more lands. What if, and then God created the firmament. What if the firmament touches down 1,000,000 miles south of 60 degrees? That makes for a lot more room and that makes for a much bigger place. I do think that there's more lands, but we don't need to speculate on what's beyond Antarctica to prove the shape of the Earth. We can speculate all day, but until we get access to go there, that's we are speculating. But check out the book, The Iron Republic. Go on YouTube and you can just search The Iron Republic by the Morgile. He read the whole book for you. He's a great narrator. 5-hour read. So if you have a long drive coming up or something, or commuting to work on the train, listen to it. It's a fantastic book, and it rings super true to me. And there's lots of books about more land beyond. So again, we don't need to speculate on what's beyond Antarctica to prove the shape of the Earth. But it's interesting that with all the conflicts in the world, all of the governments agree on two things. Nobody can independently explore Antarctica, and everybody has to be a human pincushion.
Yeah, so true. What is this here?
Control. It's about control.
Yeah. Yeah, you're getting a big thanks from Jules. You know what I heard a lot of people leave comments too, saying that, yes, we've been taught our whole lives to believe that the earth is round and so on and so forth. And it takes a lot to relearn that that's not true. And then when you confront someone and you say, hey, I think the earth is flat, they're going to ask you why, how, and you need to be ready to do what you do and give at least the basic facts you have your website, which is brilliant, and it's a good resource.
But that's what I made this app for. So you can you know what? I don't know the answer. Let me pull that up. And you can find the video and send it to them. You can go to the flashcards and there's over 230 proofs in there. You go to the images section and someone says, how does a sunset? You can just type in sunset, or let's type in perspective. And you have all of these examples. You can say, look, here's the sun. Here are these streetlights. You know that they're all the same height. Now, let's say there's 20 streetlights here. Can you see the 40th one? The 40th one is out of your range of view. Well, it's the same thing with the sun. And that when you're looking across the land, that you're looking through the thickest, darkest atmosphere, this becomes opaque, and you can see the sun just goes beyond it. Like somebody on the other side of a fence talking to you while you're sitting in the yard, they walk away, their head will disappear from the bottom up. Just think of this as the sky fence, the Atmos, and the sun goes beyond it and takes its light with it, right? In the app, there's if someone says, well, how come it's not light all the time? You can go to the more resources page and you go right here, and these are the sun fade out videos. Where the sun just literally disappears in thin air and it stops going down. So there are proofs, but the thing is, you can lead a glober to flat water, but you can't make them think critically about the shape of the earth.
That's so true. And you can't be lazy either. You get some people that they go, who cares? They just don't. How do you work with that? How do you even begin to deal with that?
Well, you got to kind of pick and choose. You got to understand who you're talking to. You got to. I can size people up usually before they talk, whether they're interested in learning or not. They're not. People say, well, what about all the Antarctic bases, And so these are some of the bases. They're secret bases too. We've had whistleblowers, but you just flip that onto a flat earth. They're all here. They're all right on the shoreline going around the earth, guarding anybody from exploring out here. Did we talk about Kiribati?
No.
Let's take a minute and talk about that.
Yeah.
If I can find it. So
we have a lot more questions too.
Yeah. So let the questions line up real quick. This is going to take like 2 or 3 minutes.
Go right ahead.
So you can go on ship tracking websites and see ships all over the world. You know that, right? And we went on this website and we saw some ships. How did they get all the way in here? Right? Hundreds of miles, 730 miles from the shore. How did an active fishing vessel get there? Right? And there's another one. This one was 905 miles in. We're zoomed out a little more. Right? That's almost in the middle of Antarctica, allegedly. Right. So how does that happen? So the question is, how does it happen? So here. Oh, wait. So on that one ship, we looked it up, and normally it gives you tons of information about the ship, where it's going, what it's carrying, captain's name, and all it said is it was 850 meters long, 80 meters wide. That's gigantic, and it was registered to the nation of Kiribati, or Karabas, it's pronounced. Have you ever heard of it?
I have, yeah.
Oh, you have? Okay. Well, you probably heard of it because of this.
I did. I saw a video of the ships.
Yeah.
What you're showing. I didn't.
So it's in the middle of nowhere. It's tiny. You have to zoom in before Google Earth will even see it. I had to put a pin on it so I could find it. Right. Yeah. And it used to be, you search, look at the spelling of Kiribati, right? Kiribati. That's how it's pronounced. Okay. So interesting. And Google Earth would bring you right there. So interesting. And on that island, it doesn't prove anything. There is a Captain Cook hotel. He's the guy that went around Antarctica, and it took him 3.5 years. And he said he went 68,000 miles, which is a flat Earth measurement. But that's weird. Maybe it's just somebody obsessed with him. Right. And when we look at the ships that are all around their oversized pier for this little island, they all say destination unknown or Christmas Island is their destination. What is that about? Christmas Island? Destination unknown? So we're like, where are these ships going? And there's stuff about nuke testing on Kiribati. You know that nukes are fake. So
I heard that.
Yeah, I can prove it to you. But whenever you see nuke testing, that means they don't want you to look there. So they were supposedly doing nuke testing there. And the story, it's just so dumb, but I'm not going to take the time to go through it. So this map was found in a Buddhist temple. It's 10 centuries old. And it was published in 1907 in a Hawaiian newspaper showing some extra lands. Well, if you take this and wrap it around a ball, all of this will become crunched up on the bottom. That's Antarctica. And perhaps the ships are going out here, from here, out here. Right? And the US and China and Vietnam give them billions of dollars, saying that Kiribati is a very important trade route. What are they trading? Tuna fish, computer chips, weapons, children? I don't know. But how do you know this isn't going on? How do you know there's not another trade route out over here or over here, over here? Right? They take the map. They take our map, right? So imagine all those continents are out here, and they wrap it around a sphere, and they tell us you're not allowed to explore here independently. But we'll take you to this little tip right here, and we'll show you some penguins and some ice, and then we'll kick you out. No independent exploration. Yeah. Imagine if they did that to Australia. All the people in Australia, they drew a circle like 300 miles offshore. They wrapped it around a ball and taught you in school that's all that there is. They would know about none of the other lands. That's what they did to all of us, in my opinion.
So we have whistleblowers for UAPs. They're coming out of the woodwork, right?
Yeah.
Why don't we have flat Earth whistleblowers? I mean,
you're
one for sure.
We do. I'm not a whistleblower. I'm just a researcher, but we have people from NASA. I had a NASA whistleblower that gave me tons of information. He was actually fleeing the country, and I don't know what happened to him. Something happened to him.
Kidding.
Yeah, and there's astronauts that said we haven't gone to space. They've disappeared. That said space is fake, Earth is flat. There's pilots that have mentioned it publicly. They've all gotten grounded.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, I think they're doing soft disclosure now. Candace Owens talking about Rob Skiba and the Tomb of Gilgamesh and, his stuff. And more and more people are talking about it because it is coming out. The flat Earth genie is out of the bottle. It's not going back in. So they're trying to get ahead of it. They're trying to somehow get control of it. But I don't see how they can, unless they somehow create like a massive world war or something, where the
Yeah.
only thing where people won't care, they just want to survive, right? That's how they can do
Yeah.
it, and they can reset the place. But here's the good news: I don't think they can do that unless we all allow them to.
Well,
Unless,
that's a great point.
just like on
Yeah.
after September, the day after September 10th, that everyone pounded the war drums. I'm like, wait a minute, they can just go bomb these other countries on their own. They got the keys to all the jets, but they need us energetically to allow them to do these things. So if people are seeing through the psyops, through the theater of war, and we're like, nope, it's all fake and whatever, they can't do it.
Yeah.
I think they tried to start this World War III a whole bunch of times. They tried, they couldn't, they're not doing it because people are seeing it. People are seeing through it.
Absolutely agree with that. See, and a lot of people feel this way, as Libracast said, the shape of our earth is the least of our problems. Well,
that's not true.
I disagree with that.
Flat is not a shape. Flat is a description of a created world where we're at the center of creation, where we have the power, where we have the control, where we can manifest our reality, right? The globe is a way to drain you, keep you in fear, bleeding loose all the time, feeding the demons, and not doing anything, not understanding. So many people are in their lives like, what am I doing? What is the purpose of my life? What am I doing here? That's on the ball. On a flat earth, everybody finds their purpose, right?
Yeah.
And so it's not the shape that matters. It's the lie that matters. It's how they're making you insignificant, unimportant. When you're scared, you're like, please help me, daddy government. What do I need to do? Oh, we need more protection, raise my taxes, right? We're the only ones here that work to live our entire lives. And most people are paycheck to paycheck. Like 80% of the country is paycheck to paycheck. That's where they want you. They want you in debt. You notice how nobody ever gets denied college loans? They want everyone going to college. They want the indoctrination. They want the debt. They want the debt. Everyone gets to go to college because it's more indoctrination, and it's putting you where, like, oh, you know what? I better go flip burgers. You know what? I'm pretty good at flipping burgers. Maybe I can be manager one day. They want you with aspirations like that to become the manager of a burger joint.
It's just sad. It's hard to conceptualize. Not that the earth is flat. That I get 100%. That the lie is so pervasive, and that there's so many people in on it. That part blows my mind. I think that, like, how is that possible? I can't.
So in your chat, you have Miss Shelley. I don't know if she's a regular, but she's spiraling, and she just thinks that this is all lies. Show me a globe proof, and I'll go away. Just one.
Yeah.
Show me a globe proof, and I'll go away. I'll show you 1,000,000 flat earth proofs, right? Show me a globe proof, and I'll go away. The people that defend the globe are literally defending their prison guards. The globe is a prison for your mind.
Libra is saying that the justifications are not making my statements untrue. I mean, and again, it's definitely perspective and what you're willing to tolerate in terms of belief.
Yeah, no, I don't believe the earth is flat. I know it's flat. People believe it's a globe because they don't know their own model. They don't know either models. Miss Shelley, I invite you, go to my website, flatearthdave.com, and scroll down to the crash course. There's a list of videos there that Google is hiding from you. Watch them. They're all really well done. You'll be entertained at least. It'll be fun. And there's no way you can get through the first 3 or 4 or 5 without becoming the globe is nonsense person. So it's easier to not know and believe than it is to know, right? You have to verify things. If you had to verify everything in your life, you'd never be able to do anything or go anywhere. Because I got to verify that. I got to verify. No, we have to build a web where when we're told something, we every single thing we've ever experienced, we instantly analyze, use it as a basis for that. When they said I was president, bam, you dismiss that in a millisecond, right? But a child would be like, Really? I don't know. I don't know who the presidents
Absolutely,
are,
yeah.
right? And they're going to store that as possibly true, or maybe they'll store
Right,
it as true.
exactly.
And if nobody, and then if later in life there's some television shows that say, yeah, Dave Weiss was president and Dave Weiss was president, that's going to become a foundational belief of that child, right? With
Absolutely.
no
I mean, and at
evidence.
least Mish is asking the questions. We all start out like in disbelief, but at least she's asking the
Yeah.
questions that because it's all
Well,
about asking the questions.
she said she's trying to understand.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, I'm giving you the tools to understand. If you're on the move a lot, get my app. My app is $3. People are like, oh, you're selling an app. That's why you're doing this, right? I walked away from a high-paying career that I built in my own company, and I walked away from it all to just be able to pay my bills with the money that comes in from the app. This app costs a lot of money, but it is a tool that wakes you up and helps you wake others up, and that's the purpose of this. So I highly recommend that you get it. Or you can just go watch the crash course videos. That should do it. You actually don't need the app if you want to find out, right?
Yeah, no, the app's cool to have on your phone. No, Mish, I get you. She said, wow, Dave, what did I say? Geez, I never said I didn't believe, trying to understand. And that's the kicker right there.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. That's what I said. She said she's trying to understand. I get it. I was trying to understand too. I'm telling you how to understand. After the show or whenever, save that playlist from my YouTube and from my website, flatearthdave.com, crash course, and then just start watching it. Keep that window as a separate window open on your computer. Whenever you have time, go back to that window, watch the video. And when you're done with that video, the next video will play, and not a YouTube algorithm video that is going to try to steer you away from the information. Watch the playlist. Nobody can get through the first half a dozen without becoming a flat earther. It's impossible.
Yeah. So as far as they, because everybody is always saying they're doing this, they're doing that. So these are like corporations, the media, intelligence agencies, governments, and so on, right? They're the ones that are specifically doing this curating so that we live on, on this round globe and we do everything according to their method. Now, is the reason they reveal it because they don't want the karmic retribution? Like, is that supposed to be?
The reason I believe that the number one thing is revelation of the method, where they don't want the karmic impact of breaking people's free will. So they tell us,
Right.
If let's say, I'm just trying to think of an example. Let's say, you're my friend, or you're my daughter, whatever, and you give the person, hey, here's some things to keep you safe in your house. A bolt lock for your door. I've got you a weapon. I've got you some mace spray. I've got you a taser. I've got you a security camera outside that'll warn you when someone's coming to the house, an intercom so you don't have to open the door. And so I got you all of these things, but you don't use any of them.
Right.
You don't use any of them. You leave the door unlocked, nothing's on, everything's put away, and somebody comes in the house, right? That's not on me. That's on you. That's your fault.
Perfect.
You didn't use the gifts that I gave you. And the gifts God gave us was discernment, ability to think, ability to reason, ability to work things out, ability to remember, ability to use logic, ability to see through lies. But a lot of people don't like to do that. They like to scroll through their TikToks, watch cat videos. Nothing wrong with a couple cat videos, by the way, right? But they don't pay attention to the real things that matter, right? I could say that I'm a little ADD, a little short attention span. I do like the short videos. And that's why on my DITRH YouTube channel, I have all my videos are under 5 minutes. Most of them are under 2 minutes, right? Because it gets people interested, and then they watch another video, right? Now, nothing thrills me more than a great 5-hour video on this topic, right? There's a video actually that got me deep into the old world and stuff on the old world page of the app. If you go down, it's the lost history of flat Earth right here, right?
Okay.
When that first came out years ago, Some people send it to me and I'm like, oh, what is this? And I click it. It's like 5 hours and 10 minutes or something. I'm like, get out of here. I'm not watching that. Right. And then more people send it to me. More people send it to me. And people's like, have you watched it? Have you watched it? I'm like, well, I don't know, 5 hour video. Come on. Who's got time for that? So it was 11 p.m. one night. I'm cleaning up my office. Let me just throw this thing on. I threw it on the big screen. 5 minutes later, I wasn't cleaning up anymore. Next thing I know, it's 4 a.m. I'm holding my head. The next thing I'm holding my head going, what the hell just happened? Right? Went out and did my stuff for the day, came back. I watched the entire video again in the same day. Okay.
Wow. That's saying a lot.
So many people that have watched this movie and it has blown their minds. Blown their minds. Now, I'm not saying every single thing in this movie is correct, but it's close.
What's the name of it again?
It's called The Lost History of Flat Earth. And you can find it on the app. You just go to the Old World page, which is the Griffin, the Griffin button, and you scroll down, and it's The Lost History of Flat Earth.
Got it. I'll be sure to watch that.
It's a winner.
What do you think would change if, in terms
everybody
of
found out?
Yeah. What do you think would be the most substantial change?
So Justin Bieber decides to tweet this podcast out, and so does all the other crazy pop stars that have tens of millions of followers.
Yeah.
And it goes super viral. The whole world wakes up. Tomorrow, they're like, oh my God, it's true. This sounds really horrible, but it's actually amazing. All governments would fold. All religious institutions would close their doors. All universities would close their doors. And there would be a total reorganization of the world. People, unfortunately, the low-minded people will go in the streets and want to, hang people. The violence would be hopefully not as bad, but people are nuts. People have lost their minds and lost their ability to think and reason.
Yeah.
We don't need to take down the government. That's a bad idea. We need to ignore the government. Imagine everyone in the world decided to ignore all things government. What could they do?
Nothing. They would just fail.
They would be like a flea. You wouldn't even notice them anymore, right? The only government is a religion. It's a belief. It's a faith. It's like money, right? You've got a sandwich. I've got a $20 bill. You're not hungry. And I was like, hey, can you give me that sandwich? I'll give you this $20 bill. You're like, it's like a $10 sandwich. Sure. So I give you the piece of paper that you have faith is worth something. And I get a sandwich and I get to eat it. And I'm not full. I'm not hungry anymore. So luckily for you, a lot of people are in your money religion, and they believe that $20 bill has faith also. They have faith in it also, and you can get something from them. You can get a couple gallons of gasoline or whatever. And so there's nothing behind money except faith.
That is so true. Ignore all things NASA. Yeah. I think a lot of people have, and speaking of them, where are you on the whole disclosure UAP thing? Do you think that exposure would be more or less, well, probably more impactful, less than the flat earth thing?
So the UFO guys like Richard, what's his name? Richard Dolan and if some of the people you even have on your channel, they have real experiences with orbs and things in the sky. There are things in the sky, but they're not coming from outer space. There is no outer space. They're coming from the outer space here on Earth. They're also coming from underneath the Earth. They're also coming from other frequencies that we can't see. It's all here. Like the people that, Richard Dolan is pushing for disclosure, right? Disclosure is already here. You just think it's in outer space, so far away that, it would take billions of years for it to happen. No, it's here. It's a day trip away on a conventional airplane.
That makes more sense.
And if they would pivot all of the stuff that they push, makes more sense, right? The crop circles, all of the stuff, everything makes more sense on a flat, stationary, centralized center of creation. And I don't get it why those guys can't take the leap, like Brad, what's his name? The Antarctica guy, Brad, I've forgotten his name. He writes 1 million books all about outer space. It's all from here. The closest star, think about this, heliocentrists. The closest star to us is 25 trillion miles away, or 4.5 light years. That's close in the cosmic realm, right? So if you and I were traveling at a mile per second, and we're traveling for 1 trillion seconds, how many miles have we gone? Mile per second for 1 trillion seconds, we've gone 1 trillion miles, right? If we go a mile per second for 5 seconds, we've gone 5 miles. If we go for 1 trillion seconds, we've gone 1 trillion miles. You with me?
Yep.
Okay. No one's ever gone that fast. Do you know how long 1 trillion seconds is? I probably told you before.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it last time.
It's 31,000 years, okay?
Yeah.
So we're in a rocket ship for 31,000 years, going faster than anyone's ever gone. We only have to do that 24 more times to get to the closest star.
Jesus.
You see how your brain is melting right now? You
no
can't.
sense.
You can't. So I'm good friends with Elon, and he's going to give me a rocket that goes 100,000 miles an hour. That's unfathomable. It's only going to take us 28,000 years to get to this closest star. 28,000 years. I don't think the Earth is that old, if you really ask me. But when we get there, we find out that the planets around that star, if there was planets, if that was a star, are uninhabited. So now we got to go to the next one, which is like 30 times farther. Okay. It's diluting your ability to think. We do not know how to deal with large numbers. That's why they throw large numbers at us all the time.
Yeah, sure.
The lands that I could show you, that map I showed you from the Buddhist temple, those are just a couple thousand miles away. You could probably get there in a conventional aircraft or an airship, which they removed. We used to have giant airships with,
I saw pictures
with thousands of people with the staterooms, showers, restaurants, right? Right. And they run on radium engines, and the exhaust from a radium engine is helium, right? So maybe they can stay in the sky for as long as they like. So again, alien disclosure is here. It's on flat Earth. It's now. You can come and go. Somebody can come from the outer lands beyond Antarctica, leave in the morning after kissing their wife and kids goodbye, come over here, anally probe somebody, and make it back in time for dinner. All right? They don't have to travel through cosmic space. It's a joke, but that's the analogy is true.
When you have all these people that are contactees and abducted and all this stuff, so are they just hallucinating what happened to them, or did it happen just not the way they thought it was? So
your interpretation of things are based on, again, your life beliefs, right? Mm-hmm. So you believe it's a ball, right? So check this out. You got the local sun lighting up part of the Earth around the dome. The dome, let's say the dome is kind of curved to it, and let's say let's say that there's this is the concept of the world. This is just speculation. So map, we pull it up. I'm just typing in map, and we go to the Nos Confunded map, right? You've seen this map?
Yep.
So this is our pond, our local pond here. And let's say this is Mars out here, the Mars pond, right? So as you come up and away from Earth, you don't even have to go outside the dome. The Earth is going to just turn into a circle, and you're going to think it's a ball, a partially lit ball. And you're going to fly away, and the Earth is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. And the light over on this other pond is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. You think you went from one ball to another. Mm-hmm. The flat earther is going to look down and go, no, these are just lit ponds. Right? So these people that are saying they went to other planets, there's a couple things here. Maybe they had a real experience, and their life beliefs made them see planet instead of pond. Or maybe this was some sort of MK Ultra to get witnesses out there to say they've been to other planets, and maybe it's all just a psyop.
That's a good point. A lot of them are feds, and they don't even know it.
And they're just making up stuff. And a lot of people are hypnotized. People say, are all the astronauts in on it? I'd say all of them except Don Pettit. You know Don Pettit? He talks like he has a learning disability because he has a learning disability. When they were advertising, they actually put an ad out in across the United States for they're looking for one astronaut, and I think 40,000 applicants. People applied because everyone wants to be an astronaut.
Sure.
Out of 40,000 people, they chose Don Pettit.
Jesus.
That should tell you right there that
Yeah.
it's all just a big
Oh, we
psyop.
know. Yeah, we know it's a big psyop. But a lot of people ask this question repeatedly. If the Earth is flat, why is the moon a globe and the planet's a globe? I get that a lot.
Okay, so first, you're assuming that they're a globe, right? So if the pool table is flat, why are the pool balls round?
That's so good.
If your floor in your house is flat, why are the lights in the
God.
ceiling round? We're not a light,
Yeah.
we're not in the ceiling, right? So, but the question is, everything turns into a sphere in the distance. So I have right here, I have 4 moons. Can you tell me how this is a model, of course? How big are those moons? Are they the size of a ping pong ball? Are they the size of a yoga ball? Are they the size of a tennis ball or a basketball? Can you tell?
No.
You can't tell. Hold on a second. I just took myself away. I was trying to get rid of that thing in the background. Give me a second. There it is. All right. So you can't tell until something interacts with it. So
Right.
what shape is the one on the right? Is it a sphere?
You can't tell really.
This one here.
Can-
Well, it looks like a sphere.
I mean, it looks like one, but I don't.
Looks
I don't
kind of looks like the
really-
moon. Now, as soon as this person reaches over, you can say, oh, okay, it's about the size of a tennis ball. And you see that it's a
Right.
half a sphere. So you don't know that it's a
Right.
sphere. That's no, but how about this
Exactly.
next one? Is this one a sphere? That looks more like a sphere to me,
Yeah, it looks like a sphere.
but it's flat.
Oh, jeez.
How
Yeah,
about this one? Is this one a sphere?
Looks like a sphere.
It's concave.
Oh my goodness.
So when you look up at the moon, I actually think the moon's a sphere, but they call it a lunar disk, right? So that's interesting. But everything in the distance becomes a sphere. So is this the sun or the moon? Is it rising or setting? So this is called neuro-linguistic programming. I've programmed you. I've given you a false binary or trinary or whatever I did. Does it look like the sun or the moon a little bit? It's one of them.
It
Right?
could be. I mean, it also
Right?
could be the headlights from a car or a train.
Well, but it's a circle. It's a sphere, right? How
Yeah.
could it be headlights? Right? It's the way our eyes work. When we bring it forward, we can see that it is a train and look at the
there you
shape.
go.
But that
Jeez, that's
turns
great.
into a ball. So when
That's
you
a
look
good
up,
example.
yeah, when you look up at the sky and say, well, all the planets and everything else are spheres, that's not true, right? Check this out. This is a star.
I was just going to ask you about that because that's what you see from amateur astronomers and photographers.
This is the
That's
star
what
that's
you
supposed to
say.
be like 100 or 200 trillion
Yeah.
miles away. Stupid.
crazy.
It's stupid to think that. It's just stupid. Right? We sent a balloon up in Arizona with the 4K cameras pointing up, and the sky was filled with stars. And as it goes up, it's going to get above the thickest atmosphere, above any thin clouds that are there. And it's only going to get brighter and clearer. But when it hit 60, 70,000 feet, all the stars were gone. Now, don't ask me why. I can make theories all day, but the heliocentric claim that that the stars are, what they are, falls apart, right? In Ezekiel, it says the angels in the sky are a wheel inside a wheel. I'm kind of seeing a wheel inside a wheel here,
Yeah, sure.
right?
With the eye in the center, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. It's absolutely nuts to believe in what NASA tells you. And when you said ignore everything NASA, no, we love comedy. NASA is the best comedy show on earth. Just watch it. I saw a clip today where a spacewalk And we're like, sometimes they do it underwater. Sometimes they do it in a studio with hanger, or, wires. The astronaut had 3 legs. It was AI.
Oh my God.
But you
What a
wouldn't notice it. You wouldn't notice it because you're not trained to see these things.
Yeah, I've seen the video of the bubbles coming out of the suit.
Bubbles in
You can
space.
tell that, yeah, bubbles in space.
Yeah.
So Elon Musk and all of them and the trips that they're planning to the moon, it's all bullshit. I mean, plain and simple.
All of it. All of it is complete and total bullshit.
This is the cognitive dissonance that we have. It's so hard to believe that this is all fabricated, that Elon's in on it, that they're all in on it.
There's different systems that they have. Whenever you see they're like, well, I've seen a launch, right? Sometimes they're launching a miniature. Sometimes they're launching a helium rocket. Helium, like the space shuttle was a helium rocket. It wasn't even a rocket. It was just a friggin' blimp. Okay. And sometimes they're doing CGI on computer screens, and sometimes they're doing holograms. These 3 towers are projecting this hologram.
Is that right?
A hologram. Yeah. And sometimes they use what do they use? I forgot what I was going to say. But here, this one I call the 2-pack rocket, right? So you got the 3 towers, and this is, by the way, edit. There's just so many edits. They never show you a rocket going into space uncut, right? And so we'll go up, like, where's the thrust? Shouldn't all of this just be blown away? Watch right here. Watch right here. So it's going up. And again, we don't see the ground. We don't see how fast this is going. We don't see anything. This is a projected hologram. And here it comes. Whoops. What happened there?
Do that again, please. Oh, shit. Oh, what would they say? That was just like a camera glitch, or?
Well,
like
the Globers will say that we did that as flat earthers, but we got this off of one of their live stream. Then they say cosmic rays, this and that. They just make up shit, and then they don't address it at all, and they just change the topic. They just gallop to something else and hope that people forget it.
So the hologram technology is that good? I mean, I've seen some, that they use with humans where they put them in that box and they create a replica of the person and it looks legit. But I didn't realize that it could be that advanced. Aren't there visitors there that claim they feel the heat from these launches?
Sometimes they have all sorts of deceptive tricks. Some people say their windows rattle. NASA has these giant engines that vibrate. The thing going up in the sky is nothing. It's nothing. It's just a balloon most of the time. That one, this is the hologram.
So satellites, Dave, let's talk about them. A lot of questions about, I've seen them, like my college up here, they have a big, huge telescope and they invite you to come and look through it. And I saw the rings on Saturn through it.
You saw satellites?
And then you lay on the grass and you see the satellites shooting by. And
you see a little tiny dot of light shooting by, and they tell you that it's a satellite.
Last night, I was walking my dog, and I always look, and I saw 2 satellites shooting by. What am I looking at?
It used to be my favorite thing to do was to watch satellites go by when I would be down in the tropics. Yeah. but first we're gonna look at a few things. First is, where is it? First, you know that NASA sends up tens of thousands of satellites on balloons?
I've
tens
seen
of thousands
that,
of them. Yeah, tens of thousands of them, right? And solar panels work, right? Solar panels have to face the sun and at a certain angle. And if you have them at a bad angle, they don't do very well. Right. Look at the angle that these are at. Now, this is launched in wherever they are. I think this might even be like way, way, way far from the equator. So the angle, why isn't that changing? Okay. The angle doesn't change, right? That's not, I'm on the wrong one. By the way, there's no pictures of a satellite in space. We just have CGI drawings, right?
Well, there's no telescope. There's no Hubble. It's Fake news.
It's all fake news. It's all fake news. Here, so this is what I want to show you. This one. So have you seen the Starlink ones go by in a straight line?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, I did too. So the Starlink satellites are about the size of a child's school desk. When directly above you, they're 350 miles. When they're off to the side, they're far more than 350 miles away. But they're all reflecting sunlight perfectly. Amazing. But sometimes one will blink out and then another one will come on, right? So wait, why is one blinking out if they're all reflecting sunlight perfectly? And how do things reflect sunlight and look like a light themselves? When the sun is bouncing off your house or off a rock, it doesn't look like a light. These are lights. What are these? How could we possibly see them? So here is a 747.
Okay.
747s are huge, right?
Yeah.
7 miles high. You can see the shape of the plane, but you can't make out the engine, right?
Yeah.
Right? That's 7 miles high. Starlink satellites, you can probably fit a dozen of them inside of these engines. Here's a person standing right here, right? So the Starlink 340 miles high. That's the closest you'll ever get to one from the ground. If we doubled the height of this plane to 14 miles, you wouldn't be able to see the plane. At 14 miles, 340 miles, we see these satellites. Many people report when they see the satellites going by, the Starlink satellites, they hear an airplane. They hear an airplane in front of them. Now, and one behind them. So that's interesting. Well, guess what? Elon Musk's brother bought Microsoft's or Intel's, the largest drone company to replace fireworks in the world. His brother bought it. Could this be a line of drones?
Jeez.
And could they be relaunching them when their batteries run low from an airplane that's just cruising along with them? The battery's low, the light goes off, it flies in, they send another one out. Boom, the light comes on, or maybe they send the other one out first. It comes on, the other one, the light goes off, and it replaces. This is totally doable. This is, they're making dragons float in the sky.
Oh, I've seen, especially in China. Some of the tech out there is crazy.
So could we do this?
But why, Dave? Why? Why? The lie just seems so massive, almost too massive to believe that Elon would be in. So where are they getting GPS from? Those balloon satellite things?
Nope. The GPS comes from the ground positioning system. As a matter of fact, one of our guys found, every day, I'm all over the place here. They launch 780 or 970 weather satellites all across the earth. Twice a day, every 12 hours at the exact same time, 970 are launched, and they gather all of this data, and they all barometric pressure, wind speeds, altitudes, everything. They stay in the air for maybe 8 hours, and then they crash down to earth. And one of our guys found one washed up on a beach in Aruba, and he happened to be like a software guy. He cleaned it up, found some numbers on it, Googled them, got in and found the website that tracks all of these, and they call it the GONASS satellite system. And it's proven on this site. It shows you which towers are tracking these, which ground-based towers are tracking these, but they're telling the public that it's satellites that are falling around the earth. It's insane. Here are the balloons they launch every day. Yeah. 970 twice a day, right? So here is when I was on a flight and I was listening to a live stream, I was uploading videos, the internet connection was great, and it used to be that you would just connect from tower to tower to tower as you move along, just like a car does. It just goes from tower to tower to tower, right? But it kept telling me, stay in touch, letting everyone know why you're available via satellite. So now I'm connected to satellite. What does that mean? So that means, let me just make this smaller. I got my airplane here. Excuse me. 5 miles up. I'm going to connect to a satellite 350 to 1,000 miles away. So I'm going to connect to the satellite that has no power source. No one can repair it. A tiny little solar panel. It's falling around the earth, magically following the corkscrewing patterns that we're doing. It has to send the signal back down past the airplane to the tower. Why don't we just go blip? Why did we send the signal to the satellite when the satellite's sending it back down to the tower?
So when we hear that countries are in distress or we're having hurricanes, that Elon is sending, satellites to
Starlink,
their
yeah.
rescue?
So this is what it is. And I did a video where I had ChatGPT, and basically I pointed out that back in the Vietnam War, our soldiers had these special communications where they connect to AWACS planes. They had the radio that connected to a high-flying military plane, and the military plane would beam the signal back to Washington because of the curve of the earth. That's what we were told, right? Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Well, the equipment that they used in the Vietnam War looks just like a Starlink receiver.
No way.
Yeah. And now there's commercial flights everywhere, and all the commercial flights have this internet connectivity. They basically, all the commercial flights are roving cell towers. That's all they are. A cell tower would work great if it was 5 miles high. It would have a huge radius. Well, in the United States and Canada and Europe and all of the Western countries and most of the third world countries, you always have direct line of sight to an airplane.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the satellite system, that's where the satellite equipment is. So ChatGPT said, yeah, that would work very well, except if there's a big thunderstorm and they're diverting airplanes around it. And I said, well, what if when there's a big thunderstorm, they just flew an AWACS plane over the thunderstorm? And it said that would work even better than the current satellite system they have. It would work better because, one, you need a power source. The airplane is the power source, right?
Right.
You can't unplug a cell tower and have it still work. But we have things in space unplugged.
Right.
Okay. And you have to service these things. Well, every time a plane lands, it could be serviced. It could be swapped out. The equipment could be changed, upgraded, whatever. Right. And it works. Now we have military guys that live in some really remote islands in the South Pacific. And they said it wasn't until Starlink came that they could have internet service. So they're thrilled with Starlink. And these are guys that track every flight in the sky, military and civilian, and they're looking to see what's going on there. How many warplanes do we have up? What's going on? And they tell us, two of them have told us, when the last airplane leaves their area, they lose their Starlink service.
Yeah. Jesus.
What does that tell you?
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Why are competing nations like China, Russia, all cooperating in maintaining this BS narrative? What's in it for them? I mean, I could see the United States, but what about competing?
There's a
countries?
bigger BS narrative than the one that you're thinking of. And that's the BS narrative that all these countries are not working together. All the division of countries is all complete and total BS. China, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Israel, United States, Canada, all of them. They all are one big cabal.
Yeah, it is.
They're all one big cabal. It's all about division. They want us divided. They want us 6 feet apart. They divide us by power. They divide us by football teams, by politics, by race, by everything. They want us fighting. They want us scared. They want us lonely. They want us feeling lack, and that way they can suck up that loosh. That's what it's all about. Yeah, and if you don't believe that,
isn't it feed them bread and give them circuses?
Right. Yeah. I mean, go watch these football games. Go Google, people. Google football stadium all-seeing eye and look down when you see. There most of them are giant all-seeing eyes of Lucifer. And so you got this shape, this Luciferian shape. You got all of these humans in there expressing emotion, right? Sending out that energy. It's just a big energy. And here's how you win a spiritual war. You convince people that none of that stuff is real. It's all nonsense.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's how you win.
Well, in the Bible, it said that Satan, the biggest trick he did was convincing people he doesn't exist. I mean, speaking of that, satanic and angelic forces, what narrative do you think they're playing currently in the awakening of humanity? Because we're hearing a lot about, the fight between good and evil, people waking up to it. What say you on that whole thing?
Ask the question again.
Like, in other words, we're hearing a lot about demonic forces versus angelic forces. The typical fight between good and evil. Do you think that narrative is playing into the awakening that humanity is experiencing right now? Because let's face it, you've seen more people waking up now than ever.
More people are waking up, and the more we wake up, the more we realize we don't understand what this place is. Yeah, there is a huge. It's all about a war between good and evil. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff. I mean, you talk about like celebrities, the stars. They're like fallen angels. Some of these celebrities, and we don't know how long they've even been around. There's like questions on like, wait a minute, this person looks like that person. A lot of that stuff is wrong, but a lot of it is kind of undeniable.
It really is.
Yeah.
And they're right out there with the satanic worship. They're on stage doing it. They're
right in our
like
face.
You said it. Right.
How about the Super Bowl? Did you watch the Super Bowl, the halftime? All the kids are like, oh, it was so great. It was such a cool message and everything. Get it translated. I can't even repeat what it was. I can't even repeat it on the show. Yeah. And people are just saying, oh, it's the greatest thing ever. Crazy.
Greatest thing ever. It was porn. It was largely.
It was not even porn. Don't insult porn that way.
Yeah. It was anti-women, disgusting lyrics that, it was vile. I watched the one with
in front of kids and stuff.
Yeah. So you definitely, do you think that this war between good and evil is like stirring up to the point where like that's why God is waking us up to be ready for the battle? You know what?
There is no battle if we don't let them have a battle, if we don't battle them. If we just have to say, no, I do not consent. I don't believe that they can do anything to us if we don't participate. They need us to participate.
Yeah. That's true. He said, guys like that take a dump on everybody who has a real experience. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So what can humanity do? What could we do? You're giving us all this knowledge and so many other podcasts. We learn so much. What can we do other than spread this knowledge, share this knowledge? What else can we do?
We can wake other people up. That's the idea. Share the information with others. Understand that everybody has their own journey, and offer the information. You can, as I said, you can lead a man to knowledge, but you can't make him think. Right? So you can explain it, but if they're not willing, they won't understand it. Yeah, that's it. What's up, Sufanelli?
So, she's one of your fans there.
She's a long time truth teller, if you will.
Ah, nice. Very nice to meet her. Pleasure.
Yeah.
So
one of your people that's like, can you? They can't believe that you believing this shit. So tell me one gold proof, and I'll go away.
I know.
Make it that easy. There's none.
Yeah, mostly people are too lazy to do that. Now, you've been in podcasts where you've been confronted by some top level folks that have really, head to head with you. Were any of them able to get close to like winning that 3 Bitcoin thing? Or
no, the video you're talking about is with a guy that calls himself Professor Dave. He's really just a failed comedian. That. Yeah, he's really that's because Google's feeding it to you because he just speaks confidently. He made 0 points. When you speak confidently and you have professor in front of your name, lazy people go, oh, he's a professor, and he's talking circles around him.
Yeah, that's so
it's
true.
Nothing. It's just absolute nothing. And that video has woken up so many people because I would get emails, and I still get emails. hey, I don't believe the earth is flat or anything. I'm in the scientific community, but I watched your interview with Professor Dave, and he was just so rude. And I want you to know that's not what we're like. And like, hey, thanks for the email. Here, watch these videos and get back to me. And then they come back to me. They're like, holy crap, this stuff is real. The problem is, you can have all of the proof you want, but it's useless to those who won't look at it. It's useless. It's useless. I have a device that helps people heal from really bad things, but people won't even look at it. Like, I had a friend that could have helped, wouldn't even try it.
What is that, Dave?
It's a plasma.
Is it a
It's a plasma. It uses plasma, so it's a plasma device, and they're becoming more popular all over the place now, and they're amazing. And I tell people, do your own research, figure it out yourself, right? But all of this stuff is being hidden from us. They literally removed the ether from the periodic table to hide all of this. I mean,
look at what they do to the people that discover how to run a car on water and discover how to get free energy. They walked them off the planet.
Yep. Off the plane.
They walk them off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Going back to Tesla, what they did to him. So.
Yep. Any final questions as we come to the end? We have like 5 minutes left, goodness. I think.
Yeah. Any other questions? Let me look in my starred. What is this here? Hillbilly said, I saw a video the other day. Carrie sent me Flat Earth and Darius Wright about the firmament. Oh, I don't know.
I have a comment.
Yeah.
Somebody wrote, that's why they're giving us AI to confuse everything. So one of the arguments was back when we're looking at the blue marble picture, they're like, we didn't have Photoshop back then. I think we had Photoshop 300 years ago. Okay. Right.
Well, I've heard that.
Yeah. That's a stupid argument. And so now look what we have with AI. I mean, have you played with AI? You can I could take a picture of you and I could make you dance around the room and then fly off and turn into a freaking bird. Right. And it's for free, for nothing. And it looks pretty real. So the elite don't just create this. Oh, let's give it to everybody real quick. They've had it for decades. Right. When we see that woman that looks like she looks like a demon on the International Space Station. She did a whole tour of the space station, and there's all different ways you could have done it.
Not Katy Perry.
No, not Katy Perry. But it's all AI. I think that some of the astronauts on the space station are AI. We never see them in public.
Oh, I've seen a lot of footage like that are green screened and stuff.
So it used to be video evidence in court was the tell-all. You bring the video evidence to court, you're done.
Not anymore.
You're finished. Now nothing works. And I think it's because it's all by design. The whole Epstein files are coming out, but now there's a pliable excuse. When you see what Hillary Clinton did, like, that's just AI. I would never do anything like that. And then you've literally lost half of the people instantly. They're like, yeah, it's AI. And then they won't look again. So it's all by design. So,
So the photoshopping you were talking about, I saw photographs. I think it was like of old Tartaria where they had blimps, like these big massive ships in the sky, and they photoshopped them out, hundreds of years ago. It's crazy. I believe that's possible. Look at the buildings that were made and destroyed. Now the buildings we have are these horrible square boxes of metal, and there's nothing beautiful about architecture anymore.
On my app, on the Old World page, you gotta start watching My Lunch Break. You follow him? My Lunch Break. You can find him on YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, he's great. And then another one, I just did an interview with him. If you go back to my interviews channels or look on my Facebook, Flat Earth Dave Facebook, with Jake, I'm the Improbable Dreamer. We're actually going to be doing a late night live stream in a couple of weeks. It's going to be great, but he's amazing. He's got such good stuff on airships, mind-blowing stuff. It'll blow your mind. Yeah.
Where are your live streams? Are they mostly on YouTube? Like, do you get shadow banned or?
I don't do live streams. I go on other people's shows now because.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty. Honestly, it's like if I do a show on my channel, I'm only getting the people that are already flat earthers.
That's
I don't
true.
care. I don't care about them so much. I care about the people
that's
that
true.
still think they live on a globe.
Yeah.
And I want to get them to look at reality and understand who they are, what this place is.
So on your app, because sometimes I get confused and then I'm short on time, what's the best place to start for folks?
Best place to start is the frequently asked questions button. Frequently asked questions.
You showed us that.
It's right here. It's a question mark. But if you don't know what a button does, you long press it and it tells you what it does.
Oh, nice.
So you
I
can
didn't
figure out.
realize that.
Yeah, you can long press it. It tells you what it does. And here, I'm gonna announce a new feature that I'm about to implement.
Oh,
so
cool.
back in 2014, when you're a flat earther, the globe trolls, the paid agents, the demons would come at you and go, oh, good luck getting a job. You know, no one's going to hire you. You're a stupid flat earther. Well, now we've grown to numbers so big that we don't want to work with people that are globers, right? And globers, and flat earthers that have businesses don't want to hire globers, right? Look, this is the United States. This is just a small fraction of the people that are using my app.
Wow.
And that is just a fraction of the people, right? So I'm creating a truther job board, right? Where truthers truthers that have companies, can post jobs on there, and people that are looking for jobs, and it's going to do all it's almost set up, and it'll be in the app, and you'll get notifications when there's a new job posted, and there's some really great jobs, but it's truthers working for truthers. And what's better than that?
That is freaking awesome, Dave. Especially,
Thanks.
During these times, people are having a hard time finding jobs because of AI. So that is such a genius thing to do. Is it going to be by state, like where you break it down by state?
You'll be able to search it by your location, by remote access or type of job, and it's gonna. There's not going to be a ton at first, but as it goes, people are gonna. Yeah, people are going to grow.
Yeah.
In the app, let me show you real quick. In the app, if you click your profile, which is here, let me do that. Does that load for a second? So in your profile, I got a little low service here. Come on. There we go. So when you edit your profile, when you're loading your information on your profile, one of the questions it'll ask you is if you're interested in work. In a job.
Oh, nice.
And so you put that in there, and then the button will appear for the jobs board. So it's in here somewhere.
And then there's a place for people to post jobs. I'm sure if they have jobs available.
If anybody has a job available, they can post it. There's I was talking about the plasma. There's some great jobs for the plasma companies. Truther jobs. Even if you have just like a little deli or landscaping business in South Carolina, whatever, who do you want, sitting on that tractor? Who do you want working back behind the counter with you? You want somebody that's open-minded, hopefully, not a human pincushion, and has the ability to think reasonably, because flat earthers, we're a little smarter than the rest of them out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw a dating app too for the unvaxxed.
They took that down, but if you look here on my app, you got the dating button. Let me hit that.
Oh, that is so cool.
And so you set your age. I have me set for 1 year old, so I don't show up in anybody's because I'm married. You set your range, and then you can say, okay, I have it within 1,000 miles. You can make your radius smaller.
Nice.
And I've hearted 19, so I'm just going to click the heart button up here, because I've saved. When you're looking at one, if you like it, you can just click save, and then you just scroll from one to the other, and you can click and send them a message. You can even do video calls on here, right? People don't even realize that you can do group video calls.
Now, is that $3 one-time purchase, or is it every month?
So it's $3 one-time purchase. But if you want to get into the social media, which is like this stuff, and use some of the higher functions, it's $11 a year. All right, $11 a year.
That's so cheap.
And you can also earn free, like if you do it for 1 year, if you recommend the app to people and use your referral code, right, in the friend finder, If you click the middle button here, it brings you to the referral area. You edit this to make it whatever you want. Mine is DITRH, which is my YouTube channel. And every time I tell someone to get the app, when they download it, I say, hey, use my code. And then I get a point. And for every 11 points, you can trade it in for a year subscription.
Oh,
that way
nice.
you don't even have to pay for it. Yeah. And you earn some Dome crypto free. It's all free.
Oh,
Teaches you just how to
I'm
stuff.
going to do that. I'll put it in the description of the video. I'll make a code and call it like Ethereal Encounters or something. And I'm gonna do
Well, no,
that.
it's up to, you only go up to 7 digits. So make it short,
Oh,
make
so
it
I'll put
easy,
EEU.
easy to spell. Whatever. It's something that people remember, something that you'll remember, because you're going to be talking to someone about flat Earth, and they're going to go, oh, where do I get this app? And you say, oh, you just get it right here, and they'll download it. And then the first thing they'll ask you is, do you have a referral code?
Oh, nice. And then they could just put it in.
And they put it in. You get a point. It shows up on your app instantly. And then
why not? It's brilliant.
It is. Thank you.
I love it.
So, but again, people pay to go on Match.com, which is like $40 a month.
Oh, it's more than that.
And it's whatever. And it's not going to match you up. Like every blue dot on there, you have more in common with them than anything Match will ever do for you.
Wow.
Yeah. Because they're awake, they're aware, they're unjabbed mostly. Some
and that's what you want.
Or if they are jabbed, they're detoxing and they're doing stuff like a masterpiece or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's it.
What is this here now? Oh, wait. Somebody asked a question, I think. Wait, no. Hey, Dave. Here it is.
Yeah. Go.
I do my $11 a year just to say thank you. I never use any of the extras you give me. Your app alone is awesome. That is so nice. Thank you.
I appreciate it. The 11, you probably do use it because, like, when you go into the images and you search the images, that's all subscribers only can do the search. Yeah, I appreciate it, but it's really a no-brainer. There's people that send $20 super chats, multiple times.
Yeah, of course.
It's like, and YouTube's taking 30% of that.
Oh yeah, they're a ripoff. It's people think you make money on this network. You make nothing. What else are you, in closing? Anything other than that massive update you're doing? Anything else you're working on that you want folks to know about?
I just did an interview on Brad Lee dropping bombs with Brad Lee out of Vegas. I actually recorded it a few months ago and it just came out. If people can go there and watch it, it's a great interview. It just I guaranteed him 3 things. 1, he'll get high views. 2, it'll go longer than he expected. And he goes an hour and a half. We went over 3 hours. And he'll invite me back, and he invited me back before we even started recording. So I got 2 of the 3 so far.
Where do we find that?
You will if you have the app, you just go to the interviews button. But if you go to my Facebook page, it's there, Flat Earth Dave, or go to my website, flatearthdave.com, and just click interviews. It'll be near the top of that list. This is at the top of the list right now. But on the app, just so people that have it, if you go to the more resources page, which is this button right here, right? If you go there and then click here, it says interviews.
Got it.
And then there, look at the top interview. That's us right here.
Yay.
And it's live right now. And then the third one down, this is with Jake, the Improbable Dreamer, which I'm the first interview I did with him. And then here is Dropping Bombs. You can also just go on YouTube and search Dropping Bombs with Brad Lee, or just Brad Lee, LEA. And it's we're doing pretty good. It's got how many views does it have? It's like 21,000.
Wow, that's great so far.
Yeah, it's got 26,000 views. Right, 4 days ago.
And yes, Benno, that's true. They do. When anybody makes a donation, YouTube takes 30% of any chat's donations, stickers, or whatever.
Yeah,
they're awful. They don't have enough money. The billions of dollars that they. Hey, Dave, one last question. Will you come back soon, please?
Give me a little time, but sure. If you get a list of questions from people, or convince your non-flat earthers to come and challenge me, that'd be great.
All right, I will be in touch via email.
All right, thanks.
Thank you so much, Dave. Much love.
All right, see you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, that was awesome. Thank you so much to everyone in the chat. I love having Dave on. He's in such high demand, and it's always an honor. And thank you all for tuning in. You've been listening to Ethereal Encounters Unveiled live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. If you're watching on any of our social media, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. That would mean so much to me. You can friend me on Facebook, whatever floats your boat. Thank you for the lovely comments. Thank you. Dave does rock. Thank you, all of you in the chat. That means so much to me. It really does. We will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, I have another amazing guest coming on. We are going to be talking to Dave Alderman. He's called the People's Lawyer. And we're going to be talking about manufactured minds programming inside the system. So that one's going to be really cool. As you could see, I love this topic. So tune in tomorrow. Just a quick note, every Thursday moving forward, we are going to be airing at 6:10 p.m. instead of 5:10. We're bumping it back an hour, and that's going to be great. So it'll be after your dinner, and hopefully you'll be able to always join us. God bless each and every one of you. Love you all dearly. Bye-bye for now.